Hey there, Easy Agent Proers. I'm Tyler with Easy Agent Pro, and today we're bringing you an awesome packed episode. I wrote an article and made a video a couple weeks ago about why you should not really worry about Snapchat right now in your real estate business. And fun fact, Dustin Brohm is this guy who's really pushing Snapchat hard in real estate right now, and he's actually a client of ours. So he reached out, he disagreed with some of the stuff I said, so we figured it'd be awesome to collaborate on sort of a SmackDown, fight over what you should be doing on Snapchat, whether you should join it, whether you shouldn't join it. He's actually closed some business from it, which I didn't know about. So we'll go into all of that. My viewpoint really hasn't changed. I really don't think that the average agent watching these videos, reading these blogs, should worry about hopping on there. But Dustin also has some decent points that he throws out, and we talk about some bigger picture stuff too, like how we got 5,000 people to share one blog post he wrote on his site, and how he actually does do everything else that I talked about in that video in terms of Google ranking, showing up on the first page of Google for tons of stuff, and Facebook. So he's already doing all that stuff, sort of stacks Snapchat on top of it. He finds some use cases. So I sort of grill him on how much time he spends there and what the agent should do, and then point out some ways where, the average agent who isn't doing everything else he already is doing in their business to generate leads and get business probably wouldn't benefit that much from Snapchat. So if you're wondering whether maybe my article is too strong and whether Snapchat really is crap, you might want to watch this interview. It's also a great way to see someone who is getting real estate leads, closing referrals, growing their business with this online marketing thing. Fun fact, he actually used Topgolf coming to Salt Lake City to get real estate business, referrals, and a bunch of other stuff just through his blog alone. So you're really going to enjoy this one. If you haven't checked out one of our past interviews, go check out the description. We interviewed Darren James a couple weeks ago now, and he's doing like 500 homes a year. So watch this one, then go watch that Darren James interview. Two really great real estate rock stars at very different points in their careers. One of them is doing like 500 homes after starting in 06, and the other one here just getting started. He got started I think 6-7 months ago and is doing business with online marketing. So two very different case studies, two different interviews. Hope you find them useful. If you like Snapchat, you can add Dustin, you can add me, and we'll see where this goes. So let's hop over to the interview. Dustin, welcome to the show.
Just look at the Ask Gary V show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gotten much better, but sometimes the sound is terrible. They don't use any mics at all, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
because it's good stuff.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. It's about what you anyway. So, yeah, Dustin, thanks for giving us a call today. Dustin's a great agent out there in Salt Lake City. Met him, on social maybe. Was it earlier this year in February, Dustin, where we sort of started?
It was around the first of the year.
Yeah, so he's an agent there in Salt Lake City, and he's big on Snapchat. He's like leading the way. So obviously he disagrees with an article I wrote about a week ago, and so just thought I'd had him on the show, and we can have sort of a Snapchat throwdown or SmackDown. We'll see how it goes. But Dustin, thanks for joining us.
You bet. Thanks for having me, man. And thanks for writing that article with such a smack across the face for a title.
Yeah, no problem. I love to offend people sometimes. But tell me your thoughts on it. I'm totally interested to hear, because I have pretty strong opinions about marketing, and Snapchat I have strong opinions. So yeah, let's see where this goes.
So I'm assuming everyone who's watching this has read the article, and if not, read the freaking article. It's awesome. Yes. So when I first saw it, I was like, Tyler, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I love you, man, but what gives? Because, I love Snapchat. And then I started actually reading it and hearing your points, and I agree with you almost fully. Okay. So, you're right. Snapchat is something that if you're not covering all your other bases with online marketing, with social and everything, you might be wasting your time. However, it's not and here's where I disagree. It's not as if there's zero value. Even if you're only on Snapchat, the relationships you can build with other realtors around the country that has been by far the biggest upside for me right now.
Okay.
I mean, obviously there's, you're building a brand, building a name for yourself, letting people get to know you.
Yeah.
But as far as networking with other realtors, I've been getting referral business. And like I'm closing transactions because of people I've met on Snapchat. And I believe you can't really do that on Facebook or Insta or these other ones because it's not as personable, it's not as real. And that is why I love Snapchat. And so even if someone jumps on Snapchat, they don't do anything else, there's still a value there.
So here's my big challenge to that, and like that's like you're closing business, right? So like obviously like fantastic, because like the whole point of my rant was like, go close business. Here are 10 ways to do that, right?
Right.
And so like you just like you're doing it, right? And I think that was the exception I might have had at the end of the post or whatever. But
right.
my point is like I get email after email. And the people I see are so different than the people you see probably. Of someone who's like, like I got one today. Like I'm on my last leg. I haven't had a transaction and blah blah blah. Like what can I do? And from my perspective, telling them to go on Snapchat and network with other agents isn't like the most not the most crucial thing that they can do right now to get results. And I understand your point.
Right.
You might get more response engagement per post, but I'm thinking that on Facebook, with Google, with YouTube videos, there are just so many more ways we can reach directly into the people who are buying and selling real estate in your area right now. That, in my opinion, the clickbait title, right? The see behind the scenes was worth it just to get the point across that every new shiny object in real estate does not have to be pursued fully until you execute 120% on the one thing you picked to grow your business first.
That's where I agree with you 150%. Okay. You're absolutely right.
Not much of a throwdown.
No, it's not. It's a puff piece. Yeah. It's turning into a puff piece. So you're right. Snapchat, it's all about your expectations too. Like if you want to be getting leads immediately, Snapchat's not, Snapchat is not the answer by any means.
Do you think it's the answer for someone who wants to invest in 30 minutes a day and then grow that into something over the next year? Would you still have them hop on Snapchat? Okay, why?
Absolutely.
Explain that to me, because that's something that I really don't, I wouldn't encourage someone to do at this point in time.
So, and I'm going off what you literally said,
right.
30 minutes a day. We can all come up with an extra 30 minutes a day. And Snapchat, and I can see your face, we can all
but you can also
30 minutes
spend
out of
that
the day.
30 anywhere else. Like there are so many markets. But go on, I won't interrupt you.
Snapchat is, in my view, obviously quickly becoming a behemoth in the marketing world and in the social world. It's not Facebook, it's not Instagram yet, but it's very quickly getting to that point. And the numbers of users and active users on a daily basis just surpass Twitter, for God's sakes. So you can't just dismiss it as a fad. So with that in mind, it's kind of, you're building for the future. So if you can afford 30 minutes a day, and I would strongly encourage people to do so, but don't only do that. Get on there. Just start doing some snaps. Get out there. Meet some other realtors from around the country. You're going to get followers that do everything, who have nothing to do with real estate. But you might create a friendship, and hell, at the very least, you could be having fun.
Wow, people have fun. I didn't know that.
Come on, with all the filters and everything.
No, I know. I'm not kidding. I mean, a joke in business. I mean, I don't think I've written a fun article in 2 years. Anyway, I see your point. The thing that I struggle with, and honestly, Snapchat is probably the second used social network on my phone, right? So I'm not. There is some things, but I don't use it for business. And the thing that I think most people struggle with in business is not the initial burst of excitement about something, but the grind from day 20 through day 365 and beyond. I think that's where the real challenge is. And so I think with things like Snapchat, or even Twitter, which, you could build a business. The way I've had success is when I pick one thing and frickin' own that thing before moving on to anything else. For example, at EasyAgentPro, we decided to focus on SEO only until we owned it. Right.
Yes.
And so what that meant was literally buffering Facebook, right? Doing the worst thing, the thing I just made fun of Inman and Tom Ferry for doing yesterday. Like, we were doing that because you can't care until you've mastered that one first thing. And mastering it gets you so much more results than just tinkering in like everything, in my opinion. And so that's what I think the danger is with Snapchat, is that if you hop on there with anything less than 150% enthusiasm, it's going to turn into crap.
Yes.
So,
yeah,
that makes sense.
It does. Your 100% enthusiasm could only be 5 minutes a day, though. It doesn't have to be this huge amount of time. So my whole thing is, there's definitely value there, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It surprised me when I started to realize, holy crap, I'm closing deals because of referral business. Yeah. Like, that surprised me. That's why I wrote that article on Medium about, the real reason why agents should be on Snap.
And I think that's
is not what you think.
But it's not what you think. And I think the whole thing you just said is the whole thing about marketing in general, right? Like, the whole reason you send those postcards isn't necessarily to find that one buyer, but that one person might refer you to a friend who's going to do real estate. I was just interviewed, like, literally before we hopped on, the guy who's doing 500 transactions in Louisiana. And I went and read some of his reviews. The people leaving the reviews, there's one that was so interesting. It was on Google, and you can probably go search it. But it said, "I have heard about him forever from radio advertising." Nice. And then someone gave him a referral, and that's what pushed him over the edge, right? Was the fact that it was this 1-2 punch. And I think that's what agents, they stop doing the marketing because they don't see the ROI, and then they stop getting the, like, any like business, and then they realize that the thing they stopped was actually sneakily giving them business through this other means that they didn't see. And so I think you've got to track that business and commit to something. But like, just like you're seeing results with Snapchat, I think if you did anything in terms of Google, Facebook, Twitter, postcards, flyers, whatever you picked, you would see that same thing.
I agree. And I heard one of my mentors told me a while back, in terms of marketing, everything works and nothing doesn't.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everything works if you stick with it long enough. And with Snapchat, to be totally transparent, it surprised me that I was actually closing business because of relationships I built on the platform. Mm-hmm. I did not get on Snap with that. I mean, I'll take it, don't get me wrong, but I was thinking, okay, let's see what happens over the next 6 to 8 months. I'm just here to learn the platform.
Let's walk, because I'm sure people are watching this are going to want to do this, side with you over me, whatever. Like, walk us through when you hopped on it, what you've done, and like that's sort of the timeline for that.